What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the SPY, the Nasdaq, the QQQs, and the indices, break down some very important price action for many different stocks out there, and talk about what could actually end up playing out for tomorrow based off what we're seeing. I'm also going to break down what the data is telling us and how this could affect stocks like Tesla, and why they actually are showing us many signs of a potential bounce to come very soon. But before I break anything down about this, before I get into any more details about what's likely to happen for tomorrow, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Please take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. The best part is any could be a free Tesla share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 5 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So I want to make this video very brief, guys, but I just want to note that there's a lot of crazy price action right now on the charts. SPY was just all over the place for today. We actually got a very, very big pump in the morning, followed by a nice rejection off resistance. We came tumbling down very hard near the very end of the day. Then we actually got a bounce to basically top it off. So very, very crazy volatility. I mean, it was just insane. And the odds are favoring, in my opinion, more upside to come. However, the real question is, how is this actually going to develop, and why do I still say that? To start us off, we have some earnings for tomorrow, nothing too significant, just P&G, SAP, and just a couple of other ones. For Friday, when it comes to the data, the PMI report is coming out in the morning. Not much else after that except for a Fed speaker and just some oil data. Nothing way too significant after the first 15 minutes in terms of data. But for SPY, we do have something very crazy, and that's the options chain. We have 500,000 calls in the money, 600,000 out of the money on the call side. For the put side, 100,000 are in the money and 3.3 million out of the money, with the 405 being max pain and a 2.95 put to call ratio. Now, what this tells me is there are two possibilities that are very likely tomorrow. The shorts, okay, they're going to likely try to smack the market down to try to get as many of these out of the money puts in the money, right? They're going to try to fight hard. And, max pain's at 405. We have a lot of shorting. But the market makers are going to try to cause a short squeeze because there's so many puts expiring and they do not want to risk letting these shorts win, because if the market does start tanking, more and more of the puts end up in the money again and again and again. And the market makers on the opposite end who are taking risks are going to just take, they're going to lose a lot of money in the process of doing so. So they prefer to just side with the side that actually has less exposure in a way. And that's actually on the call side. So the market makers are going to likely try to pump the markets tomorrow. The shorts are going to try to smack the markets down. It's going to be a big fight. Who is more likely to win, though? I think the odds do favor the market makers a little bit more based off how we're performing. And let me break down exactly why. From a technical standpoint, looking at SPY, we actually have a bullish divergence that has developed today. If you look at the RSI making a higher low and the price made a lower low, this does mean that, yes, the pump started already. We are kind of pumping a little bit in the after hours. But I do believe where we move will depend on how we close. And so far, I mean, you could even try to make the argument that SPY has this giant flag that's forming. We're about to break out in the future. That's a real possibility. I also want to note that we have to be very, very patient with these charts so far. We did bounce off the support right here, which shows we're still in this channel. So going into tomorrow, it seems very likely that the market is just going to open. Either it's going to gap up a little bit or gap down. I'm not too sure about that. If we gap up, there's a chance we're going to see a pullback, a really nice pullback, and then we might see a nice bounce. If we gap down again in the morning, that's also very possible. The market could actually sell off a bit in a fake out and then continue to pump. What do I think is going to happen? The odds are going to favor us opening very close to where we are. I think we might get a sell off in the morning, and it's going to be a bear. It's going to be a trap for a lot of the bears. And I think the market makers are most likely going to try to pump the market hard. Now, for confirmation, just in case, if the bearish outcome comes, watch 409. If we break below that, more downside will come. Bears are going to just take control, but that's not necessarily a guarantee, because the bullish case would be we hold this trend line and we try to get above 411 and actually hold it. If that's the case, we could make our way up to test the upper trend line around this 412 area. And who knows if this is going to even hold. If there's so many puts expiring tomorrow, the market makers might just try to squeeze this thing even higher to crazy high levels. And if that's the case, that could lead to something insane. All right. So, what do I think is going to happen? I went over both the possibilities. I think the odds favor us opening once again very close to where we closed today, maybe cooling off. And then as time goes on, we get a nice rally to the upside and we see SPY close green. And I think they might cause a short squeeze. I think that's more likely, in my opinion. I am prepared for anything, of course. Make sure you are prepared for anything. But I do believe the odds favor a short squeeze to the upside for tomorrow, in my opinion. Because when you look at Tesla, it is insanely oversold. Tesla also needs to bounce soon. If you look at the RSI, it's been uptrending. The price has been downtrending. MACD is about to cross over. It looks to me like Tesla will most likely either drop a little bit more because of some news, whether we hit our bottom around 160 or 158, but somewhere around there, I think Tesla's going to bounce. It's very close to its bottom. It's going to get a nice bounce, and it should bounce either tomorrow or by early next week. A very nice bounce back to around 170 or higher. Slowly, it uptrends in that direction, and I believe that's likely to come for Tesla. I also want to note it's just so oversold. It's due for a bounce very soon. For the dollar index, well, even though the market technically did close red, the dollar is still just chopping back and forth, not really doing too much. And we didn't actually get a break on the dollar yet. It's just stuck trading sideways. That gives the market more hope. HYG obviously is forming a divergence with SPY. It's just continuing to sell off. Not a whole lot is going on with it. It's only down 0.07%. So right now, the smart money or institutions are more on the cautious side. They're not too decisive and they're just being very patient. Microsoft, it is trading kind of sideways. There is a chance that this thing might actually pull back to this like 185 zone and then it might try to get a bounce tomorrow. If we could break two, did I say one? I meant 285. If it does bounce off that, we're going to be testing 288 and then 291. What do I think it's going to do? Likely pull back in the morning, maybe get a bounce, and we could see this thing try to approach 290 very, very soon. For the QQQ, this thing is only down 0.76%. It's not that significant. The trend has been, once again, it's been downtrending very similar to SPY. We could actually draw out a channel if you want to, but I believe this thing is most likely going to end up coming down a little bit more in the morning and then trying to get a bounce. And we could even see the QQQ squeeze with a SPY for the time being. Now, I know it has more weakness than SPY, so it might not squeeze as hard. But if Tesla does get a nice bounce, that could actually help with the QQQ. And also, Aapl could play a role. For the VIX, nice green candle. But if you look at it, it's actually still not confirming a true breakout yet. There have been plenty of times where it broke out, hitting the 50 EMA, then it came right below it. That is what ended up happening today. So there's no true confirmation of the VIX breaking out. If it does break out, then this would be, the market just selling off because the shorts take advantage of everything. But like I said before, I think the odds favor a little bit more upside for the markets. I think they might try to cause a short squeeze, and this could lead to the VIX cooling off a little more, maybe just forming a base at 16, trading sideways, and then we make a big move from there. Nvda did almost exactly what I predicted, making its way down to 270. I believe Nvda, it's going to try to fight to hold 270. If it does get a bounce, it could try to get back to 274 for the time being, but I do believe that this thing is in a very big topping process. It's very important to note this. If it keeps selling off, right, which it likely still has some more downside, a little more downside before a bounce to make its way back up to 275. But if it does keep selling off, there is a possible divergence forming. It's getting very close to forming it like right here. I think right here we actually have a divergence, right? Because the RSI is so oversold and yet the price is so much higher. So we could see Nvidia bounce once again and try to get back to 275. But that's just a very short-term projection. Going into the more like medium term into May, there's likely more downside to come for the markets. On the 1 hour time frame, almost the same thing is developing. You could see the RSI was like at 44 back around this like 1.64 area, and now the RSI is around 41. So the RSI actually is lower than before, but the price is higher. That tells me that as this dropped to a higher low, RSI made a lower low, divergence forming, upside could come for Nvidia soon. For Aapl, I'm thinking that something similar could be developing. I'm just going to have to double check this. Looking at Aapl, the RSI was around like 55, 53, 56. The RSI reached 52 today after the big drop, and it still is getting closer to oversold territory in a way on the smaller time frames, right? Not necessarily this one. But the point I'm trying to make is the fact that I think Aapl could come down a little bit. It could try to fill this gap if it has. It's already around this 165 area, and then it might try to bounce very close to where the 200 or the 50 EMA happens to be. So maybe Aapl comes down a little bit in the morning tomorrow, then gets a nice bounce and tries to just continue pushing. But we do have a bullish divergence developing here. So I'm anticipating a bit of a drop in the morning and then another bounce to come for Aapl and a retest of 168. I don't think we're done just yet. That's just my opinion. Also, it's important to note that the 10-year Treasury yield is actually red. Could this thing try to pump tomorrow just a little bit to fill this gap? Yes, it could. But what if it does that and it gets a rejection? Because it could be forming like a head and shoulders. And if that's the case, then there could be a little downside coming for this, which could become more bullish for the market. But until then, we'll just have to be very patient. I am sorry that this video is going to be short because I actually have very limited time today. That's what I have for this video. I want to thank you all so much for listening. Be prepared for anything for tomorrow, okay? We could see the market tank or we could see the market bounce and see a short squeeze. But I believe the odds favor a short squeeze tomorrow. We may sell off in the beginning of the day and then get a really nice bounce as time goes on. I think Tesla might actually bounce either tomorrow or by Monday. I think Tesla's very oversold and it's due for a bounce. So be patient, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and just get ready. We are getting some very interesting price action for tomorrow. I also have some merch for you guys if you're interested. It really is your choice if you want to buy like a tank top or a hoodie that says to the moon, or buy low, sell high, or something like that. It's all available either below or above the comments, depending on where you're watching this video. Anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next one. The market to the moon because the long term is still incredibly bright. And peace out.